Tonight, a nor'easter takes aim. The powerful storm threatening several states with blockbuster snow. The new forecast just in.
I'm Allie Bauman in New York, the nation's largest city bracing for a blizzard, with crews racing to get ready.
Up to 2 feet of snow. I'm meteorologist Andrew Kozak with details on the widespread whiteout affecting millions.
Also tonight, Trump punches back, opening a new era of tariff uncertainty for businesses big and small.
Month to month, the tax rate could change.
Showdown with Iran. New reporting as the world's largest warship heads to the Middle East.
I'm Charlie D'Agata in Tel Aviv. Pressure and military presence mounting as tensions rise over Iran.
Royal crisis.
I'm Elizabeth Palmer outside Buckingham Palace. The police investigation into former Prince Andrew is widening.
Remembering Bill Mazeroski, whose World Series walk-off made the Pirates champs. All that plus the final weekend at the Winter Olympics with Team USA soaring and seeking a new miracle on ice.
I'm Seth Doan in Cortina, where in the final days of these games, there are also questions about the future of these Olympic venues.
This is the CBS Weekend News from New York with Jerika Duncan.
Good evening, Jerika is off. I'm Elaine Quijano. Tonight, a new blast of winter threatens 30 million people along the East Coast, from Washington, D.C. into New England. The storm, monitored for days, is now suddenly fierce. Blizzard warnings have been issued, including in New York City, which faces as much as 2 feet of snow. Authorities warn power outages could be widespread, travel treacherous, the first of hundreds of flights already canceled. CBS's Allie Bauman in New York City leads us off. Allie?
Elaine, New York City is loading up 700 salt spreaders and turning more than 2,000 garbage trucks into snow plows for the first flakes expected to start falling tomorrow morning.
With the storm just hours away,
the little white pellet, right?
Yeah. People on the East Coast are laying claim to bags of snow-melting salt.
You got one for me already?
I got one for you right here.
I'll take that, buddy.
It was just weeks ago that a nor'easter buried the East Coast, and a deep freeze hampered cleanup. Dirty mounds of snow piled so high that New York City deployed so-called hot tub trucks to melt them. This time around, they're trying something new.
You too can become an emergency snow shoveler.
The city's new mayor, Zohran Mamdani, is offering to hire residents to clear sidewalks. Parts of New York and all of New Jersey are under states of emergency.
I've already activated 100 members of the New York State National Guard.
So I am urging you to make plans to stay off the road Sunday through Monday.
The storm is expected to reach Boston by tomorrow afternoon.
Ugh, that kind of sucks.
Ahead of the snow, college student Landon Newton was digging out his car, still buried from the last storm.
Back here in New York, Mayor Mamdani says the city will try to bring homeless people in off the streets tomorrow, but will not force them indoors. Elaine, at least 19 people were found dead outdoors in the wake of last month's storm and cold.
Allie Bauman, thanks. Let's check in with CBS News meteorologist Andrew Kozak with new details on the dangerous storm.
Elaine, good evening. This escalated very quickly from a system that started off with some showers, thunderstorms for the south for this afternoon into tonight becoming a full-blown coastal system for the northeast, a nor'easter with blizzard conditions for nearly 30 million people. You see here in the red, all the major cities are going to have a combination of wind, blowing snow, and reduced visibilities that are going to be very dangerous across the next 24 to 48 hours, even up to 70-mile-per-hour winds for places like Boston, Massachusetts, Sunday night and into Monday morning. Let me time it out for you. Tomorrow morning, we start off with rain, snow to the north, but you might see a lot of this melt because temperatures will be freezing or above. But the tables turn. By Sunday afternoon, colder air rushes in. The snow starts to pile up, and very, very quickly. 5, 6, 7 o'clock across areas like New Jersey, New York City. By about 9 o'clock as we head into Boston, this will eventually move out of the way. And look at the swirl of this system. Looks almost like a winter hurricane and give us a lot of very heavy snow. Take a look at the totals right now, 1 to even up to 1.5 feet, especially across the coastal regions. This is something, Elaine, we're going to be tracking very carefully across the next 24 hours.
Andrew Kozak, thanks. Tonight, a new avalanche in the west. It happened at the Big Cottonwood Canyon outside Salt Lake City. Two skiers, aged 57 and 48, were buried. They survived but were badly hurt.
They got caught swept up in the avalanche, buried, and then other group of skiers witnessed the avalanche, and they were able to dig them out.
Tonight in California, authorities say they've recovered the bodies of all 9 skiers killed in a backcountry avalanche on Tuesday near Lake Tahoe. Severe weather prevented recovery teams from reaching the bodies sooner. Now to the massive buildup of U.S. firepower in the Middle East. The ships and aircraft moving into position if high-stakes negotiations with Iran fail. CBS's Charlie D'Agata is in Tel Aviv. Charlie?
Good evening, Elaine. Iranian Revolutionary Guards held live fire exercises alongside Russian forces this week. These are annual drills, but this year they've been conducted in the shadow of the largest U.S. military buildup this region has seen since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. The largest and most advanced warship in the American fleet crossed into the Mediterranean today, getting closer to within striking distance of Iran under the orders of President Trump. Along with the Lincoln aircraft carrier in its armada of guided missile cruisers and destroyers that are already here, the U.S. military is preparing for war. It's all part of this maximum pressure campaign. President Trump has continued to say he'd rather find a diplomatic solution rather than a military solution to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions. So Iran has said if it's attacked, it will strike back, and not just against U.S. targets, which are well within range of its missiles, but any regional country seen to be supporting the United States. And that puts Israel directly in the line of fire. Now, the Israelis used its interceptors to shoot down the majority of Iran's missiles in the last conflict, that was back in June. But now this country is bracing for a counterattack, Elaine, on a scale much bigger than that.
Charlie D'Agata, thanks. Today, President Trump raised his new global tariffs to 15%, one day after the Supreme Court struck down many of his punishing taxes. But what about refunds? CBS's Willie James Inman is at the White House. Willie James?
Elaine, good evening to you. Thousands of companies have paid billions in tariffs, and some are now waiting for refunds after filing lawsuits to get their money back.
Small business owners like David Levi, the founder of MicroKits in Virginia, are breathing a sigh of relief following the Supreme Court's decision.
We've been kind of in survival mode, kind of just things have been slow, and now with this ruling, now I feel some relief.
Levi sued to get a refund on tariffs long before the Supreme Court made its ruling on Friday.
Had to cut my workers' hours. I had to just accept that I was going to make fewer parts this year.
Thousands of businesses, big and small, have had to pay additional tariffs, including corporate giants like Costco, Revlon, and Bumblebee Foods, who also sued to get refunds. But Trump says refunds won't come without a legal battle.
We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years.
And now California Governor Gavin Newsom and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker are demanding the Trump administration pay out refunds to businesses and Americans.
America's working families deserve a refund.
The government has collected more than $130 billion in tariff revenue tied to President Trump's tariff announcement in April of last year. Tariffs have been at the center of President Trump's domestic and foreign policy. And now the White House is putting forward its backup plan.
I have the right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs.
Elaine, tonight the White House dismissing and blasting Governor Pritzker's demand, saying he should instead focus on his own state government.
Willie James Inman, thanks. Tonight, the British monarchy is facing its worst crisis in generations as fallout from the Epstein scandal widens. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer is outside Buckingham Palace with the latest.
Good evening, Elaine. The arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is still making waves here in the UK, and the police investigation into the former prince is actually widening.
Here's the moment the former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor left the police station looking stunned after 11 hours in custody. But a huge investigation is still underway. His homes, including a 30-room mansion in Windsor, are being searched, and now police are questioning his former close protection officers about what they knew. Andrew is being investigated in connection with allegations of 2 crimes, both connected with Jeffrey Epstein. One is misuse of public office when he was Britain's trade ambassador. The other has to do with Epstein's network of women, including a recent allegation by one who says she was flown on Epstein's private jet to England for sex with the former prince. The family of the late Virginia Giuffre, who settled out of court with Mountbatten Windsor, told British television they're encouraged.
Today was a win for all survivors out there. This is the next step in actual justice.
There is a but, though.
In the U.S., in our very own backyard, we have seen far less action, and it is quite shameful on our part.
Andrew's relationship with Epstein has rocked the country and the royal family, who are dogged by reporters wherever they go.
How do you feel about your brother's arrest?
Sir, to what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
What's your reaction to your brother's arrest, sir? King Charles has distanced the family from Andrew. He's stripped him of his honours and titles, and this week said the law must take its course. In other words, Elaine, no special treatment, no matter how royal the blood.
Elizabeth Palmer, thanks. Tonight marks 3 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was last seen by her family. The release of video showing a masked gunman at Guthrie's home on February 1st has opened a floodgate of possible leads for law enforcement. The FBI tells CBS's Andres Gutierrez that it's logged thousands of calls.
Those thousands of tips are creating thousands upon thousands of more follow-up tips. This case has no chance of being cold anytime soon.
However, still no suspects. No updates from law enforcement officials are scheduled this weekend. The music world is mourning a pioneer of salsa. Willie Colon tonight described as a towering force in the Latin genre, and his trombone a voice of the people. Colon died today in New York. He was 75 years old. And a loss tonight for baseball. Bill Mazeroski is being remembered for his legendary walk-off homer against the New York Yankees that made the Pittsburgh Pirates World Series champions in 1960. The 10-time All-Star and Hall of Famer died today in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Bill Mazeroski was 89. Straight ahead on the CBS Weekend News, the latest from the Winter Olympics with Team USA on a medal hot streak. And later, CBS's Itai Han introduces us to a robot who knows how to work a room, keeping seniors company. This is the final weekend of the Milano Cortina Winter Games. Today, Norway's Johannes Klæbo made history, becoming the first athlete to win 6 gold medals at a single Winter Olympics. Team USA soared to gold in the freestyle skiing mixed team aerials. Tomorrow, Team USA faces off against Canada in the gold medal game. Tonight, Norway tops all countries in total medals and gold. The United States is second. CBS's Seth Doan is in Cortina tonight as action wraps up. Seth?
Good evening, Elaine. When the freestyle skiers picked up their gold today, they also set a record for the United States. 11 gold medals, the most ever won by America in the Winter Games. And those still competing are not slowing down. Tonight, the bobsleds zipped at 90 miles per hour, so fast it was hard to catch a glimpse. But soon, just the track will be left to see.
What happens after the Olympics are finished here?
Our goal is to put in place Cortina like an important hub, international hub for the sport.
Stefano Longo of Fondazione Cortina says the legacy of these Olympics should include the future use of its infrastructure.
How important was sustainability?
For us, it's very important. And I think we demonstrated this because the Olympic Stadium was the old stadium from 1956. Of course, renovated now.
They shared this film of the old sliding center, which was rebuilt for these games in the same area. They're trying for a better outcome than the now abandoned track built for the Turin Olympics 20 years ago. Longo insists Cortina, which hosted the Olympics in 1956, is different.
Here in Cortina, we have the most important bob club in Italy, and all the know-how for the bob, the skeleton, is here in Cortina.
He hopes it'll attract athletes from around the world and also tourists who can play out their own Olympic dreams. Perhaps not as big as those of Johannes Høsflot Klæbo, who picked up 6 of the 18 gold medals Norway has won so far.
Oh, Klæbo, he is amazing.
This 11-year-old Norwegian thinks it's cool that his country of about 5.5 million people is doing so well.
This Olympics was like so great.
There is another gold the U.S. is hoping for tomorrow. The men's hockey team faces off against Canada, which has crushed the U.S. for years. The last time the U.S. men's hockey team won at the Olympics was 1980, Elaine, the so-called Miracle on Ice.
Seth Doan, thanks. Still ahead on the CBS Weekend News, a new speed bump for NASA's mission to the moon. Will it delay plans for the next lunar trip? Tonight, a new setback for NASA's return to the moon. The lunar trip is now off until at least April after the space agency revealed a new rocket problem. It involves the flow of helium to the rocket's upper stage. The massive Artemis II rocket could soon be rolled off the launch pad and back to the vehicle assembly for repair. Well, some extraordinary courage and teamwork in Prospect Lake, Colorado. Video shows rescuers in icy water rescuing an unconscious driver trapped in a submerged car. He survived and is recovering in the hospital. 4 of the first responders were treated for hypothermia. Today, a golden doodle abandoned at an airport earlier this month found his forever home. The dog, named JetBlue, was left behind after his owner didn't complete the paperwork required to travel with him. Las Vegas police officer Skeeter Black, who responded that day, officially adopted the dog. The previous owner is now facing animal abandonment charges. Next on the CBS Weekend News, once the stuff of science fiction, how a robot is now helping care for seniors. But first, a look back at this day in history.
The hour at which you'll be watching this, dawn will be breaking over China.
President Nixon was meeting with political and spiritual leader of this nation, Chairman Mao Zedong.
50-year-old Steve Fawcett, the first person to fly a balloon solo across the vast Pacific.
Finally, a growing aging population and an acute caregiver shortage are pushing adult care centers to think outside the box. In tonight's Weekend Journal, CBS's Itai Hott in San Jose, California, shows us a new high-tech helper.
Good job, Ms. Barrow.
Over their lifetime, the people in this room have seen major advancements in technology, television, the internet, Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. But now, a different kind of giant leap. Meet Miroki. He plays music.
Should I practice my autograph?
Knows how to work a room.
Which U.S. state is known as the Sunshine State?
And happens to be very good at trivia games.
Wow.
The folks here at Live Oak Adult Daycare Center in San Jose are living with mild to moderate dementia.
I love it.
And Miroki has a way of bringing the room to life.
It has brought a lot of joy.
Izumi Yasukawa is Live Oak's Chief Happiness Officer. Yes, that's actually her title. She says the robots keep people company, freeing staff to focus on care.
10,000 people are turning 65 every day, and we don't have enough caregivers.
Once the stuff of science fiction, high-tech helpers like Miroki are showing up in nursing homes across the country, with a global market for elder care assistive robots expected to soar from $3.4 billion in 2025 to nearly $10 billion by 2033. These devices don't come cheap. Miroki, by French company Enchanted Tools, can cost up to $80,000. But judging by the reaction of 94-year-old Beryl Greensmith, Miroki has left quite the impression.
It was a highlight of my life.
And as if that weren't enough, he's got one more trick up his sleeve, a built-in sense of humor.
What do robots eat for a snack? Computer chips.
Which apparently runs on dad jokes. Itai Hott, CBS News, San Jose, California.
Some corny computer code there. Before we go, a quick programming note. Tomorrow on Face the Nation, Margaret Brennan's guests include Governors Andy Beshear, Mike Braun, Laura Kelly, and Mike DeWine. Well, that is the CBS Weekend News for this Saturday. I'm Elaine Quijano in New York. Good night.